Hi, everybody. Hello, everyone. I'm just going to wait for you all to come on in. It's going to be such a great live today. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Bottled Up Live. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Bottled Up Live. I am so excited today because I get to talk with Christian Millahue from VIK Wines. I'm going to add him in right now, and let's get this started. Oh, wait for Christian to come on in. Thanks again, everybody, for joining me today. Super excited about all of this. Christian is an amazing person. Hi, Christian!
Hi, Rene. How are you?
I am good. How are you doing today?
Really good, really good. I'm really happy to be here with you.
Yeah, I'm happy you're here with me too. It's snowing today again here, so this is putting a much better spin on the day.
Wow. Well, here it's a little bit. This week has been very shiny, a lot of sun, but today there's some clouds going in. So, but you know, very good spring. So happy to be here with you today with this view of our winery.
Fantastic. And you don't have to make me feel better that it's spring in Chile and winter in Canada. Like we just can't fix that at all. So it's pointless. So we are doing some fun stuff today, everybody, with Bottled Up Live. I've convinced Christian to let me do this on here today, and we have some fun videos and pictures as we go through. We're also going to be showing a bit of tasting 3 wines together. I already have them in my glasses. I'm just watching the aromatics waft over to me and enjoying this afternoon. But I wanted to start off, Christian. And before we kind of get into wine and everything, I always love asking someone this question, like, how did you get into wine? How did you start your wine career?
Wow, that's a very deep question because, you know, in my family, we always have been involved to wine. In fact, we are growers. We have grapes and we sell the grapes, and wine was always on the table. But since I started to study agriculture, I decided to go into the winemaking. So when I was there, plus all the experience in the vineyard, I felt that wine is something that, or the only thing that communicate, you know, the nature with people, and that's what I like. So when you make a wine, you put your energy, you show the personality of that terroir, and then when somebody's, you know, have one sip of that, you transmit all that passion from that terroir and from all the people that work in that place to your glass. So it's something that you really, you know, it's a connection between nature and, let's say, the humans. You know, in fact it's the only let's say natural product.
Yeah.
When you have 2 authors, one is the nature and the other one it's the winemaker, you know. So that's the beginning. And well, today already some few years, I started some few years ago, a little bit younger than now.
Just a little bit. I'm convinced you're only 30. We're the same age. It's fine.
Yes, that's true. Yes.
You're just more ahead in life than I am for some god awful reason.
So well, some few years in this, and I really love wine. I really love the culture of wine. I really love everything around wine. I love to be out there in the vineyards and feel the nature, feel the wind, feel everything. It's a beautiful way to communicate. And you know, I always tell to my kids, wine it's one of the few things that make everybody get together. So when you are, you know, Sunday in my father's house with all the family, all with the wine, you have 3 generations at the same time: the grandfathers, fathers, and the sons, right? So 3 generations at the same moment talking about different stuff, and it's, you know, wine is something really, it's beautiful.
I agree. I couldn't agree more. I absolutely love your explanation of it. It's the only thing on earth that has been here since we really started. Once we figured out that we could make these grapes into alcohol and make it better and better and better every year, why the heck would we get rid of it? So
Yes.
let's transition into VIK Winery. You guys are doing something so cool down in the Chichagua Valley over in Chile, and it's such a beautiful winery. Like you can see, but what's behind you again? That's the top of the building, right?
Yeah, that's the winery. Now I'm in the restaurant that we have at the winery. So we have that view. At the other side, we have the water mirror. So
here,
yeah.
You
so
sent
this
me a picture of it, so I can actually show the water mirror. That is the water mirror.
That's exactly the other side of the winery. This building was built in 2013. So since then, we have been making our wine here. Before that, we had another little building that now where we have the tractors, all that. Something really amazing about this winery or this building is that first, it's really minimalistic. As you can see, you have those walls that they converse like this. So you have you can see the Andes mountains through the glasses.
Yeah, and just on the background there, is that the Andes in the background of this picture?
Yes.
Wow.
One on the picture is the coastal range, but on the other side, just behind me, you have the Andes. So you have like both very really close, and you can see them from each point of the winery. It's really minimalistic. You know, the roof, it's something really special that we can work inside without turning the lights on. Also isolate the winery from outside, so we don't spend that much energy if we have to cool down a tank during the summer, or if we have to warm up a tank during the winter. It's really intelligent in terms of to be sustainable, to spend the less energy as possible. So for example, the water mirror, underneath we have the barrel warehouse. So in that way we can cool down the warehouse, and we have the humidity without spend that much energy. So everything is about to be very sustainable. This is something in our philosophy, holism, that is really important for the family.
And I wanted to ask you about holism too, because I've in my wine studies, as the studying sommelier that I constantly am, Chile itself has a really high level of sustainability built into a lot of the producers that are there, including yourselves. But you guys call your sustainability practices and everything around winemaking holism, and that was so cool. I had so many questions from people when I posted about your wines, like what do you define as holism? Like, what is this holism?
Well, holism is a concept from Aristotle that means that the whole is more than the sum of each part. So for us, our wine, VIK, it's the whole, and each part is all, VIK, it's all that it's around the wine. So let's say sustainability, it's one aspect that we are very focused on. Then winemaking, then the how we manage the vineyard, the social conscious of the company to the neighbors, to our work, to our labors. We take care about every single point, every single step, how to produce this very high quality wine. So we studied this way, and during the first year we realized that this type of work, it's holism. So that's why we declare our philosophy as holistic. And we are the first one in Chile. I'm not sure about the rest of the world.
I think you might be the first one, like pretty much. Like I don't know who's beating you, but you're the first winery I've ever heard call it holism. And I think a lot of my sommelier friends might end up agreeing with me. If I'm wrong, you guys just put it in the chat.
Well, also the first one in
If I'm wrong, tell me in the chat, put it in the chat and let us know. And we'll go from there.
No, but what I know is that probably we are the first one too. But it's because that we believe that we have to be really very aware and to take care about every single step when we are creating our wine. So in some point we have some organic concept, we have some natural concept, some biodynamic concept. So we take some different points from all the philosophies that we put in our own holistic way. For example, well, we will taste the wine, but our wines, they don't have intervention. That, let's say there are no addings, no findings, no filtrations, it's wild yeast. The only thing that I'm using that it's not from here are the barrels. But we have 2 new projects for that, so probably you will ask me about that. But
I will have to, because I really am curious, because this one, let's get into the wines. I want to talk a bit more about other things that are happening in the winery, how everything started. But these bottles are by far the most non-natural looking natural wine bottles I've ever seen, because you are using natural yeast, you're not inoculating, as well as you said. And like, I am so prepared to see like natural wine style bottles, but these are phenomenal. So we have 3 wines with us today: the La Plus Belle Rosé,
yes,
and then there's also the Millahue. There we go. And finally, the big guy, VIK.
Yes, exactly.
But I wanted to start off with the rosé, because I feel like my palate needs to be more expressed.
Okay.
If that's okay with you.
Yeah, let's do it that way.
Okay. So tell me a little bit. I wanted to go through each wine, but I want to know like the winemaking process for all of this, especially in the rosé. This one's a blend as well, right? What's the blend on the La Plus Belle?
Well, La Plus Belle Rosé, it's a blend of Cabernet Sauvignon, Cabernet Franc, and a touch of Syrah. You know that since we have 5 varieties in the property planted, mainly Cabernet Sauvignon, then Carmener, 50% Cabernet Sauvignon, 30% Carmener, then 10% Cabernet Franc, 12% Cabernet Franc, 8% Merlot, and then the rest is Syrah. Our flagship, let's say, it's Cabernet Sauvignon and Cabernet Franc. That's the varieties that we have in VIK. And when we start with this idea of the rosé, it was thinking about to have something fresh for our, the people that come here for the hotel. We have a pool, an infinity pool that you are looking the valley, beautiful cuisine that we have a culinary garden. So our chef Pablo, he harvests every day, all that is really fresh, organic too. So we were thinking about to have a really fresh wine for this food. Also, he has friends in the coast in Pichilemu, so he brings some fish and sea mussels. And so the idea was to produce something really fresh for that food, and also to honor that our Cabernet Sauvignon, and the Franc, because it's our flagship, but also, and most important, to honor the wind that comes in to the property every day from the Pacific Ocean, that makes this terroir really special in terms of, we have 3 valleys. We have this terroir, this property is 4,300 hectares. We have 6 valleys inside.
Yes.
The 3 valleys are really connected to this wind, and the temperature is really mild, so really low. And so that's why we call it the coolest area. And that wind refreshed the area. And we started with this idea. Finally, everybody came to the hotel, they taste the wine, and then we decide to export the wine because they love it. But the idea was to honor that wine. And so the blend is 86% Cabernet Sauvignon. It has a touch of Syrah, 4%, and then the rest is Cabernet Franc.
I love
what
it.
I do...
Sorry,
yes.
Continue.
I'm sorry, sometimes I talk too much.
Oh, that's okay. Don't worry about it. I find that a lot of winemakers talk so much, but I love it. It's great.
Well, we are very passionate about our wines.
I know, you guys get so passionate about it. You can't stop. I totally get it. It's fine.
Yes.
And honestly, I'm happy to experience it. Let's do it. So this wine is it's really, I want to get into the terroir more, but I really want to like dive into the glass a bit. I love how you get that earthiness of the Cabernet Sauvignon, like right on the nose with it. There is this beauty of a lot of red fruits and purple flowers, but it so leans towards those more stronger like earth and spice notes that you can get with a Cabernet Sauvignon, which I really do love. And it has a beautiful elegance to it right away, where I can see the Cabernet Franc coming into the blend, and a little bit more of those like spice notes that you can from the Provence region of France. So that little bit of spice, that little bit of almost garrigue can come through, which I really, really, really like. And it's so lifted and weightless and beautiful in the glass. It's really delightful wine.
Thank you very much. Yes, we are really happy. This wine also has a lot of fruit in front, some flowers. It's really, you know, what I like from this wine is that it's funny, fun, and at the same time it's a rosé that is also for paired with food. You know, it's so complex in terms of the layers of aromas that you can pair with food very easy. But also it's a beautiful rosé to enjoy it in the pool, you know, relax, or, you know, with a beautiful conversation.
The palette's so bright, and it has this like freshness to it, but this nice texture and weight. Like it really is just a beautiful style of wine. And honestly, I'm dying to eat like something with like shrimp and seafood and just really get into it, or like at most like a salmon tartare, something nice and easy and simple. Of course I want to be in a pool, but that's not going to happen right now, so I'm just gonna have to live with that. But you were talking about the terroir of this region and why you wanted it to express the wind that's there, because you guys are in Cachagua Valley, right? Then Cachagua Valley is more towards the northern end of where it's like almost in the middle, right? The northern end of where Chile is making wine. And then within that, there is, and please correct me, I know my Spanish is not good. The Millahue Valley is in there, right?
Yes.
How do I say that?
Yes.
Did I say that correctly?
Yes, very good. No, very good. Millahue Valley, yes.
Millahue Valley, yes.
Yes, Millahue Valley. It's our Millahue Valley is our denomination of origin. It's a very little spot in the Cachapoal Valley. So we are very close to the ocean. And this special area, we are surrounded by the coastal range. So we have a lot of different sun exposures. We have a lot of different kind of soils. In fact, the soils here in the coastal range are the oldest in all the country. We are very in the middle of the country, very close to Santiago, 200 kilometers southwest. And the good thing of this terroir, and that's why the family finally they decide to
wonderful, the VIKs themselves, right?
Yes, they decide to be here because this is a very special terroir full of, well, you have that's Alex and Alexander and Kerry VIK. Yes. Well, they decide to stay here because this is so special, so different, and so complex in terms of different type of soils, different sun exposure, different the temperature of the wind. It's a very complex in terms of different aspect in the terroir, and that's why they decide to stay here. They were trying to find something in Argentina, in France, but finally they decide to stay here. And so we are pioneers in this DO. We are the first one. So imagine when I've been working with them since the beginning. When I arrived here in 2007, there was nothing. So no winery, no vineyards.
They're like, welcome, build a winery.
So when I arrived here, I was talking with them. I saw the property, the first picture that you show, you know, that beautiful scenery. You can, at that time, you saw the potential of this. And well, I start to work with them. They start also to work with me. And now we have a beautiful team working and putting all our effort in the quality of our wines. And then, well, here we are with this beautiful rosé. That is a wine that is really crisp, fresh, elegant.
And I love it because hearing the fact that it comes from a more cooler affected terroir, that's really where you can get like Cabernet Franc and Syrah to do their greatest work. They don't like as much heat as Cabernet Sauvignon. I can see why it's Cabernet Sauvignon dominant. You guys are in like the middle area. I know that Chile has its different environmental zones across the country as well as down the country within the DOs that are there. But it's really quite interesting to feel that freshness in the glass. And I think it's really coming from those Cab Franc and Syrah additions into it, where the warmth is, I can feel the warmth really being that Cabernet Sauvignon dominant aspect. Really quite a beautiful wine. Again, it's just, you're not going to get me to stop giving you compliments today.
Thank you very much. So this has been a beautiful work with all the team. They are really involved about everything. So once you have the opportunity to come to Chile in the future, let's say, let's say it just in a few days, we have to stop this pandemic as soon as possible. If everybody do the effort, we will. So you will see how the commitment of everyone here. We harvest during the night, but really during the night we start at 1 a.m. and we finish at 7 a.m., 8 a.m. maximum. So the grapes arrive to the winery at 10 degrees Celsius. Yeah. So we don't have to cool them down to make a cold maceration. So again, the sustainability concept, to be as green as possible, to don't spend energy. So it's everything. It's about the commitment, about quality. You will see how each one is really, involved in the process. I love all the sellers that they work in the winery. They're really commit about the quality, and it's amazing. Everyone here make a big effort, so it's a teamwork.
I love it. And there's one more thing I wanted to mention about this rosé before we move on to the other wines, because we can't forget about them, and there's so much more to talk about. Is that this wine is also aged in oak for a little bit of time, correct? You're aging it. What was it? 7 months or so in French oak, second use French oak.
It's 7% of the wine in French oak, first or second use. The idea is to keep some, fume aspect to the wine, to make it a little bit more complex. So what I want here is to have that funny rosé, but at the same time a wine to pair. So this rosé could go with beautiful salad, with the beautiful sea mussels, or sea bass grilled, or salmon grilled, or also pastas. Well, there are no rules. It's just enjoy.
No rules. Get your primavera pasta, get your mussels, get everything, get a puttanesca. Let's get it happening. That's going to be great.
Yeah, now I'm watering.
Oh, I wish I was sorry. All right. So let's move into the second wine for the evening. For today? What did you want to go to? I was thinking the Millahue. How about you?
Yes, let's go with Millahue. Yes.
Feel like the Price is Right, lady? Where I'm just like da 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 da.
Yes, Millahue. We were talking about this DO, which is Millahue. Milla means gold, Hue means place. So the native people years and years and years and years ago, they called this area the Golden Place. Behind me, at the end of this big valley, there was a big lake. So it was full of fish. There was a lot of animals. There was mastodons. There was trees, fruit trees. So it was rich in natural resources for them. So that's why they call it the Golden Place.
I love that.
So no iPhone at that time. So they were happy with food, and and flowers and food. So the
simple days. The days when we couldn't be distracted by things we've created.
Yes. So you imagine this beautiful lake with food, fish, everything, mastodon. So they were happy in that way, and that's why they call it the Golden Place. So we want to express that in this wine with Milla, with gold, and Cala is the translation of big to the Spanish. So the cala is when you're going to a bay with the ship. It's going into a bay. In some point, you cannot reach the beach because they get stuck, right? So that's the cala.
Okay.
It's a narrow point very close to the land. That's what
Okay.
it means.
So
Okay.
that's really interesting. Like, it's so cool how you've been able to incorporate all the history just in this 2-word name for the wine.
Yes, yes. Well, plus all the art. You know that the family they're really passionate about art. In fact, this bottle here, this beautiful lady, it's a piece of art from Javier Davison.
Yes, I was looking up his work. He's beautiful. We're moving back to the La Pubelle for just a sec. It's a beautiful picture by Javier La Pubelle.
Yes. So Javier worked with the family in one of the hotels in Milano, in La Galleria Vittorio Milano, in the central area, and he worked with them there, and they asked him to produce this beautiful piece of art for this wine.
Nice.
And the idea for Javier was that she's timeless. So no matter if it's 1970 hippie or the 20s or the 2050, she will be pretty anytime. That's the point.
She does look very timeless. I definitely appreciate the lack of time.
Yes. Well, that was the idea. So the art and here in Millahue, we blend the family and the area. The idea with Millahue is to have an introduction to VIK. You know, I worked different times in France. I learned a lot from my friends there. I worked in Chateau Margaux, Chateau Leoville-Poiferré, Chateau Berliquet, Chateau Le Croc. And I learned a lot of things, mainly that you make wine in the fields first and then in the winery. But something that I learned also is that you have to have a wine that it's an introduction to your main wine.
Yes,
they call it the second wine. They call it the second wine. I don't like that, but I prefer to say an introduction.
I think that's a very it's a great way to pull it into the new world, because I find that Chile's even the wine region in Chile is affected by so many other different global wine regions, and even with the French grapes that you guys use and your background in France, like Chile overall has seen an effect from France in its winemaking. But I like to see how you've taken that and changed it. You're like, okay. We'll have the second wine, but it's not going to be called a second wine.
Yes, it's an introduction, but mainly, this is why some friend of mine, they said I'm crazy, but mainly because for me, this wine, VIK, it's a book.
Yes, it's a book. It's as heavy as a book too.
It's the kind of wine that really tells you a story. Mm-hmm. You get into that story. Every glass is a chapter. Every sip is a page. Mm-hmm. So sometimes when you go to the library to buy that book from that author that you know, just before to buy that book, you find that book, you turn it, and you read the abstract, right?
Yes.
As an introduction to know what will happen. Well, this is Millahue, an introduction to VIK. Here we have.
I love that. Sometimes you might not have time to read the whole book, so just get the intro in, make some time, read the book. Get to it later.
Well, that's the point. So here we have 5 varieties, mainly Cabernet Sauvignon. This is 62%. Then we have Cabernet Franc, which is 17%, and then a touch of Carmener, a touch of Merlot, and a bit of Syrah, just 1%. So the idea here is to have this introduction, very elegant wine, a little bit leaner, some layers of flavor, very soft tannins, really juicy wine, fruit-driven, 20 months in barrel, French oak, but just a little percentage new. The idea is to feel the terroir, the flavor, the fruit. What I want here is a fresh wine that you can pair with different type of food, and if you don't want to pair it, you just drink the wine with a beautiful conversation and enjoy. This has to be an experience.
The thing that I like about this wine when experiencing it is that I know that it's 14% alcohol, and I know that it's a fuller wine. It's getting into that, but it doesn't feel as full. It feels lighter. It has a nice lift to it. And the nice part about the aromatics of it is that you get this nod to mysteriousness, that like this nod to like something more is gonna happen. It's just like a touch, like it's just like a soft little touch, but it gives you that look into the future, which I think is a really nice aspect of having it as an introductory wine. I'm taking your word and I'm using it forever. But the other aspect that I really enjoy is this heavy presence of dark fruit notes, of violet flowers, but also this nice mint that could come from it. That freshness is right off the bat with the Cabernet Sauvignon and the Carmenere kind of really coming together in that aspect and bringing up that lift to it. And there's this almost like roasted vegetative note, which is really beautiful complement between the Cabernet Franc and the Cabernet Sauvignon. But I love the slight note of flamboyance and the slight note of all that with the Merlot, and that mystery is coming from the Syrah. I am certain of it at this point. That's the mystery.
Yes, well, with that beautiful description, I cannot say that much more. But one thing about the Syrah, yes, you're totally right. 1% of Syrah. Some people goes like, Christine, you're serious? 1% of Syrah could make some difference, and I have to say, yes, 1%. You know that I have a little story. The first VIK, that was 2009. There was 0.5% of Syrah, and that makes the whole blend. And it's till now there's nothing like our senses. Yeah. Just a little thing could change the whole experience, and that's what happens. Here Syrah gives something special, some flowers, and then all the rest of the description that you said that was perfect. The Cabernet Franc give vibration, tension. The Cabernet Sauvignon, that beautiful freshness. There's nothing green here. It's really an amazing wine.
No, it's not really green, but it has that green, that not those mint kind of freshness, that lift, that not green flavor, but that green feeling, and that clean
freshness
feeling, that very fresh.
Yes, fresh. Yeah, that's good.
I feel like I'm eating like blackberries with mint, dressed with mint in olive oil and truffles, and somehow I'm also like in the middle of a forest and something amazing's being cooked. Like there's a lot of things going on in the imaginative world this wine is taking me to. It's incredibly delicious.
Thank you. Well, you see, it's a very dynamic wine. That's the idea, that you enjoy it, the first glass, second glass, bottle, second bottle. Well,
second bottle.
Two bottles. It's good for a dinner, so no more.
See, I love that. I absolutely love that. I'm scrolling through these pictures that you gave me, and I'm just like, even as I drink this wine, like it seems this wine kind of feels like we're leading towards this place, but it's starting to look like it feels like this. Like you can see something beautiful happening, and it's like moving into this expression of terroir that is giving this nod to what could be. So I'm so excited to try the VIK now too, which is awesome.
Yeah. Well, let's jump on VIK then.
Let's jump on VIK. Amazing. Let's do it. Let's jump right into it. I absolutely love it. And then once we talk about VIK, I do want to, you hinted that something interesting is happening in your winery, and I want to find out about that. But we'll get to the VIK first. It's very important wine. So this is the VIK, everybody. Such a bottle. Like, it's so hefty. It's such a big guy. It really does have a lot of presence, despite the fact that even if it's not in glass, the bottle has presence, which is such a telling story. And that's why I'm comparing it to this image. Like, it has such presence right away. But tell me a little bit about the wine.
Well, you know that in this wine, it's what we were looking for in terms of the style. An elegant wine, full of layer, really complex. But when I'm saying complex, what I said is a lot of different flavors. layers of flavors, layers of flavors. So that's why it's a book. It's in one glass tell you something, the next glass is change, it's different, change, everything change. The next one, it's again another story. So it's a really wine, it's a wine that really catches your attention, takes you in it, and makes you enjoy those beautiful layers of tannins and the beautiful acidity. It's so elegant and well balanced. So here you have something more leaner, beautiful tannin, soft, but at the same time they are like moving.
And what is the blend? What is the blend on this wine by comparison to the Mila?
Well, this is 2013.
Okay.
This is what, you know, how it makes you watering here. Like,
we moved from the 2017 vintage
yeah,
to the 2013 vintage. So
yes,
the maturity that's being tasted is definitely also present.
Yeah, so you see how it makes the acidity, how it makes you watering, you know, like salivate.
Yes.
It's so alive. So it's 26 months in barrel. At that time, this version, the 2013, what I call the change, is the last 100% new oak, and it's not in the front. It's just part of the blend. Really, when you think about it, then you have some notes of coffee or mocha, but it's just really very
integrated.
Integrated.
Really well.
It has beautiful layers of flavors. It's that complexity means a lot of flavors, not difficult. It's just flavors, and it's a wine that you can have it with a beautiful barbecue and a steak, or you can go more gourmet with something more kind of truffles, and it's a beautiful wine. That makes the complexity that you have different stories in different moments. It's a wine that you can keep also. You can keep this one for a very long time. Imagine that it's 2013. It's totally alive. You feel the acidity, which is sometimes not that normal in a Chilean wine. But this is really a wine that you can keep for a very long time.
And this is again, it's Cabernet Sauvignon dominant. And
yes, it's 60. Well, sorry. It's the last one that it has 4 varieties. Normally, till the 2012, we have 5 varieties, but this is the first one with 4. Then the 14th, we take another one out, and we just came Cabernet Sauvignon, Cabernet Franc. This is 62% Cabernet Sauvignon, is 17% Cabernet Franc, 14% Carmener, and the rest is Merlot. There are no Syrah in this wine. This is the first VIK with no Syrah. And then it's the first year that we go up with Cabernet Sauvignon to 62% and 17% Cabernet Franc. Normally, before that was 50% Cabernet Sauvignon and 6% Cabernet Franc. I'm sorry. So this is the year where we start to go with Cabernet Franc in Vic, and La Puvelle, which is another wine that we have. We don't have it here.
We don't have it today. I don't have it here. I'm gonna have to get it again.
Yes. So then we will talk about that wine too. and that's more Cabernet, sorry, Carmener and Syrah. So Vic has been more Cabernet Sauvignon and Cabernet Franc.
I really like so when I was studying wine, I had one of those a master of wine is a friend of mine, and I was like, what is a complex wine? What is a complex wine? What is a balanced wine? He's like, a complex wine is one where everything, and a complex wine that's balanced is one that's so harmonious, it's hard for you to exactly tell me what's going on. Like, it's something that stops you from talking, and which is something I struggle with constantly. But this wine is definitely doing that. Like, I put my nose in the glass and it starts to search. It doesn't, but it's not necessarily anymore like coming up with defined flavors like we were with the previous wines. It's moving into that complexity where you're starting to move into like feelings and emotions and memories and thoughts, which is quite beautiful. And it's that shift in wine that I find makes this so complex. And you really do see it as coming up as a novel and really gives it that extra oomph for everything. So if I try to take a stab at it, this wine really starts to remind me of those kind of like perfect days. Like it doesn't matter if it's summer or winter, the temperature is perfect. You're wearing the right clothes. You're going to like do something that you're excited about, and you get there and it's exactly what you think it's going to be. Like you're going to a party or something, and it's the party that you hoped. And it's not lame, and it's awesome, and all of your friends are there, and everything feels like very tied together, and it's just like a good night. Like it's and it has so many different aspects. It's kind of like one of those moments where you try to tell it to somebody else and it doesn't sound as interesting. It's because the memory is part of it, and it was the experience to be had. I love it. It's really great.
Wow, thank you very much. That is an amazing description. Sorry, that's I love it. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. I love wine descriptions. Can you tell?
No, that's perfect. No worries. That's perfect.
Oh, to move mildly onto a question, we have one from the audience, which is how long? Okay, so this is to 2013. How long would we keep this in the cellar?
Well, that's a very good question. Mainly
Alex.
because we are a very young winery. We started in 2006. Our first wine was 2009. The first one that we export was 2010, and this is our fourth wine in the market. So I cannot go to the library and take a bottle from 1990. But what I can tell you is that when we were, tasting this wine, it's so well balanced. You don't feel the oak. It has been 26 months in oak, 100% new, and you don't feel it. So that shows, and that tells me, the wine tells me that you can keep it for a very long time. It has that capacity to be so well balanced. It has a beautiful acidity today that probably 20 years.
And the most oak that I do get, if there is one point that I can pick it out, it's like at the very back end of the aromatics and the very back end of like the palate. Like you taste that mocha a little bit still, which to me tells me like this wine is still maturing. It's still growing. It's still moving. We're gonna go back to this party next year, and it's gonna be epic. And then we're gonna go back the next year, and it's gonna be even better. And it's gonna just continue to roll forward.
Well, that's the point. I mean, it's a wine that it has a lot to show. So at least 20 years. Which is not everybody think that. Well, Chilean wines are prepared for that. There's some like this one that, yes, normally in the market you find wines that they are for, to be consumed now. But this wine you can consume it now also. If you want to drink it now, let's do it. It's so beautiful. Depends on each one, right?
You just have to buy 6 bottles, so you could drink one now and some later.
Yes. No. We said 2 bottles, 1 dinner, and then.
There you go. 2 bottles, 1 dinner. So first 2 now, last 4 later.
Yes. So, but you can have it now, enjoy it now, because the wine change in the time. Now you will have some more fruit. In the future will be more bouquet. So if you want to enjoy the fruit now, do it now, and then you keep some wine for the future.
Yeah.
It will be as good or better, depends on what you like, but. It's a one that you can keep for a long time.
I love that. And I also wanted to ask you, because while we've tasted all 3 of the wines, I'm thoroughly impressed. Very amazing. Thank you for sharing these with me. But I wanted to ask how much wine do you guys produce? Because I know that you guys sent me this video. I'm just gonna throw it up real quick. This is essentially the production line, right? Of everything that's happening, the bottling, the moving, the sorting of the grapes and kind of creating it. That's massive. That is like, it's really big. You can just kind of see it in the eons. How much wine do you make for each of these lots? Like how many bottles of VIK is made? How many bottles of Mircalla? Then the La Pubelle?
Well, the winery, we have room, but the capacity is it's not that big. Well, that's the end of the night shift. That was around 8 a.m. or something, and we are producing now around 40,000 cases of 12,
wow.
where we have 5,000. It's about VIK. The other 6,000, 7,000 is about La Pubelle Red. Then we have 3,000 more about the Rosé, and it's growing. Next year probably will be more than that. It's really has been really successful, so probably will be double. And then the rest is Millahue.
Yeah.
We can produce more, and that's why you see the winery bigger. We sell half of the production to other wineries. I'm talking about the grapes.
Yes, the grapes.
Half of the production of grapes, we sell it to other wineries for their very high-end wines. And they brought it and they make their own wine. So half of the production of the vineyard that you see, we have 326 hectares. Half of that we sell the grapes to other wineries.
That can't even show in this one picture.
Well, no, that one that you have there, it's one of the valleys where we produce La Pubelle. That valley is a little bit more protected for the wind. The temperature is 1 degree Celsius over, and that help us, or that give us the chance to have that aspect in the La Pubelle wine.
And this
at
is
the end,
on the other side.
Yeah, this is the other side, the right side. And at the end of the valley there, at the end, when you see those mountains, those 3 valleys at the ends are the one that they receive the wind that goes in. Those are the coolest area where VIK and Millahue comes in. We produce the VIK, mainly VIK, and also Millahue there. And from those mountains to the ocean, we have 50 kilometers, that's 30 miles to the ocean.
So this is what's coming off from the ocean.
Yes, that's every morning.
Side.
Yeah, that's every morning. Yeah.
Yeah.
We call it la vaguada costera. That means during the morning you have clouds that they go from the ocean to the continent, and they are, the ocean is 10 degrees Celsius. So those clouds are heavy because they are very cold temperature.
Yeah.
So they crash with these mountains and they go into the property like a wave. So the wind makes the same effect. As you can see there, the clouds goes in like a wave.
It's like a wave.
The wind makes the same effect. So it goes in and refreshes the whole area.
I love that. That's some of the style of winemaking that ends up happening in Napa as well, with the crashing of the cooler clouds coming in from there, which is awesome, and it really does give that freshness. But Christian, this has been great. I don't know, but I got to come down to Chile the moment that I can fly. I'm coming to visit 100%.
Well,
I better get a place. I'm going to stay in the hotel, and I'm going to bother you all day and be like, Christian, I'm making wine now. I am here. Sorry. Well,
no worries. Will be a pleasure. You know that you have friends here, so once everything come back to the normality, we'll be happy to receive you here. No worries.
Oh, thank you so much. And I really appreciate you chatting with me today. I can't wait to enjoy these wines with whatever I'm making today for lunch. We'll see.
Well, thank you very much for your time.
Cheers. Ciao.
Bye-bye.